Hello and welcome to Georgia Institute of EMS's presentation of the State of Georgia Preceptor course. This is the introductory module, and this course will be made up of the introductory module plus 6 other modules that will help prepare you for helping students in the field progress through their clinical rotations. So a little bit about myself. My name is Tom Camplain. I am a Level 3 EMS instructor with Georgia Institute of EMS. My email is tom@gaiems.com, and my phone number is 678-561-2368, and you can reach us you can also find us on the web at georgiaemt.com, or you can find us at myemsconed.com as well. I understand some of you may have found us through our ConEd website, or some of you may have found us through our Georgia EMT website, but either one will get you to us. If you have any questions throughout this course, please feel free to send me an email, or you can call us. Generally, there's someone available at the school Monday through Friday from at least 9 to 5 every day, and you can call and leave a message if needed, or you can send us an email and we will get back to you as soon as possible. So, how many times have we heard this? I know all of us who are probably taking this course, we were a student at one time, and I'm sure that somewhere along the way, somewhere we've heard that's not how we do it in the street. And that philosophy may sound beneficial, but it's not. All this is going to do is get our students really confused, because the students learn a procedure or a way to do things in the classroom. And that way that they are taught in the classroom is the way in which they are being evaluated, not only to pass the class, but also to pass that National Registry exam, which leads to them becoming a licensed EMS professional, regardless of which level it is. If we're teaching them one way in the classroom and they're learning a different way in the field, all it's going to do is confuse them. And once they are being evaluated either in the classroom or during the National Registry, that could hamper them from being successful in their exam. So students, they've got to follow this really rigid, a prescribed sequence skill set for them to successfully pass their licensure exams. It's all mapped out. I mean, you can go to the National Registry website and find the checkoff sheets at any time. Those are what the students are prescribed to follow. That is what they're evaluated against. And that is what we should be teaching them. Now, we should not be teaching them to pass a test either. We should be teaching them to be good EMTs and good paramedics in the field. But along that way, we also have to teach them all of the proper steps that are included that they're going to be evaluated against so that they can be successful at the completion of their program. So, what is your job? Your job is to make sure that they perform the skills in the way that they were taught to do it. And how are you going to do that? By observing them. And throughout this course that we'll be going over, that we're going through now, you're going to learn some observational techniques. You're going to learn how to interact with the educational facility and the instructor so that you and the educational facility and the student can all be on the same sheet of music so that they are evaluated and taught correctly the first time. So what is the purpose of this course? The purpose is to prepare you for your role as a trainer of EMS program students. Now, you need to be an EMT-I, you need to be an advanced EMT or a paramedic to do so. And the other purpose is to provide a mechanism or a way for us to identify how students, or to identify these students that do not meet the minimum performance standards prior to their certification. Now, that does not mean that your role is to be there to weed people out. Your role is to observe and to help train. and document. And you're going to learn in the documentation segment or module about how important it is for you to document these things so that we can, as an instructor, get that feedback from how the students are performing in the field so that we can take corrective action to help them become more successful or to ensure that they succeed at the end of the course. So let's look at an overview of this entire course. We're going to go over policies, rules, and regulations that affect our EMS educational system in Georgia. We're going to talk about preceptor responsibilities. Yeah, you're going to have some responsibilities, a few extra ones. We're going to talk about some principles of learning and principles of communication and observation skills activity. Now I'm going to go to the next slide and then I'm going to come back and go over these a little bit more in detail. We're also going to go over understanding the use of objectives, course objectives. We're going to break them down. We're going to look at evaluations and we're going to look at how they apply to you as well. And we're going to look at documentation and performance plans, and then you're going to have a final exam at the end of the program. So let's look at these a little bit more just for a moment and talk about preceptor responsibilities. We're going to get in more detail with that. But a main responsibility I just want to point out is your first responsibility, even though you're preceptor, is to ensure that patient safety. So the patient safety is always going to come first. So I just want to point that out. And we're going to really talk about principles of learning, principles of communication, and communication and observation skills activity. Now, all these things that you're going to be learning in this course are also going to be helpful in other aspects of your career. And that's why I wanted to come back and look at this, is that this just does not apply to being a preceptor of students. It's going to also help you as a field training officer when you're training new employees or you're helping your partner who may be progressing through the ranks as well. So some of the rules and regulations, and there are state rules and state regulations that apply to the preceptors in the field. So 511-9-2.17 parentheses 6 states, and then we have A, B, and C as well. Really gets detailed. States that clinical preceptors may precept paramedic, advanced emergency medical technician, and emergency medical technician students at or below the preceptor provider's license level. So you need to at least be in an intermediate EMT. So that means an intermediate could precept a basic student or an EMT student. You know, now we just call them EMTs. We used to call them basics. So I'm old school. So whenever you hear me say basic, I'm actually talking about an EMT student. An advanced EMT can precept a basic or just an EMT and other advanced EMTs. And then the paramedic can precept any of them as long as they meet the qualifications to do so. Clinical preceptors can only be approved by the course coordinator and the course medical director after successfully completing a clinical preceptor training course approved by the department. And the course coordinator must maintain student clinical records involving clinical preceptors for 2 years from the student's course completion. And the main reason why it says 2 years is because once a student finishes a program, that student has 2 years to take the National Registry exam. All right, so Chapter 11 of the OCGA here says, the paramedic clinical preceptor means a Georgia certified paramedic with a minimum of 2 years of emergency medical services experience who meets the standard requirements for paramedic preceptor training as established by the department. And the department meaning the state office of EMS. Now, most paramedic clinical preceptors are probably going to have 2 years of EMS experience, because it takes generally probably more than 2 years just to become a paramedic nowadays. Now, OCGA 31-11, 53B, and 54B kind of detail a little bit more. It says, while in training, preparatory to becoming certified. Now, what we're talking about, this is for the EMT or advanced EMT or paramedic student. Trainees may perform any of the functions specified in this code section under the direct supervision of a duly licensed physician, a registered nurse, or an approved clinical preceptor. Now, if you notice, it says direct supervision. Now, that doesn't mean just because you are a paramedic student that you can now go to work and get on the truck with a basic partner and start doing paramedic skills unsupervised. You must be supervised by a preceptor while you are performing those skills that you are in school to do. So in summary, during this course, you're going to learn how to work with students. Not only are you going to learn how to work with students, you're also going to learn how to work with the educational program, like the entire the school, the medical director, the instructor, so that you can improve this learning environment for students once they are out in the field. Our goal here is to get students ready and prepared to work in the field as EMTs, advanced EMTs, or paramedics. The clinical component is a very vital part of their initial education. This is where they get to put their hands on things. Just remember, you could be precepting a paramedic student today, and in a month, they could be working on a truck as a paramedic with an advanced EMT or an EMT partner. So we need to work together to ensure that these students are prepared to step out of the classroom and step into the field and work as a paramedic or as an advanced EMT or as an EMT, either way. And open communication is going to be key here between the preceptors in the field and the instructors in the classroom. And our end goal here, once again, is to ensure that these students get the materials and the education and the experience and training and knowledge they need to successfully make it through their program and to become successful field practitioners providing outstanding emergency medical care in the field. So with that being said, any questions? If you do have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Here's another email address if you want it. You can contact us info@gaiems.com. That email goes to a bunch of different instructors, so sometimes maybe that could be a little helpful as well. Our number is still 678-561-2368. Feel free once again to contact me at my email address, which is tom@gaiems.com. Feel free to ask any questions throughout the program. Don't be afraid to ask anything. If you see anything that needs to be improved, go ahead and shoot us an email there as well. Once again, thank you very much, and shoot us any questions you may have. And we'll see you in Module 1.